Oh, hi. I'm Ozzie Morow Jr. Today I'm going to read you a Halloween tale from Ozzie's story box called The Mossenberg Mysteries. I'll be right back. Don't you move. Hi, you're back. This story is called The Mossenberg Mystery. It was a cold morning in October. The residents of the small town of Winnapock had prepared themselves for a Halloween night. This particular night, the children all over the sleepy town would dress up in scary costumes to go door to door begging for candy, hollering the common phrase, "Trick or treat!" Pumpkin sat in the window grimacing, waiting to be lit that night, welcoming beggars to come to their grimly decorated homes for the occasion. Nathan woke up and wondered, was this the year he would go trick-or-treating with the older brothers and sisters? He was an ambitious 7-year-old boy. Until now, he had only stayed at home with his mother, handing out candy to the group of trick-or-treaters as they would come knocking on the door. Charles and Darlene, his older siblings, were already trying their costumes on for size as Nathan got out of bed.
Hey guys, can I go with you? I'm tired of staying home on Halloween night, Nathan asked.
Oh, come on, Nathan. You're too young to be hanging with us. You get scared when you watch a simple monster movie. Besides, you don't have a costume to wear, Charlie exclaimed.
Well, if I find some stuff around the house to make a costume, can I go?
The boy asked. Oh, what kind of stuff you find around here to make a costume with? We bought our costumes, and we're ready to go for tonight, his brother replied.
I can wear Mom's old hat and dress up as a witch,
the boy exclaimed. Nah, you can't dress up as a witch. That's my costume. Think of something else, Darlene said.
Aw, shoot. Maybe I'll paint my face red and become a devil then,
Nathan replied. No, not a devil either. That's mine, what I'm wearing. I don't want you to be walking around with the same get-up I have on. Look, you better ask Mom if you can go. We don't want to be stuck with a crybaby anyway, Charlie exclaimed.
No, I won't be scared, I promise. I'm going to make me a costume that nobody has, and I'm going with you. You'll see. Mom!
Nathan rushed to the kitchen, where his mother was, and asked,
Mom, can I go with Charles and Darlene trick-or-treating? I won't be afraid,
the boy exclaimed. Oh, honey, I don't think that's a good idea. You might get lost. Besides, you don't have a costume, Nathan's mother replied.
No, I won't get lost if Darlene holds my hand. Besides, I know the neighborhood.
Well, all right. Nathan, as long as she holds your hand, what are you going to wear? All the kids will be wearing some kind of costume. You know, when I was your age, my dad dressed me and my brothers up in old clothes, and we went out as old people. Those were the days. The woman laughed, reminiscing on the good times they had as a kid.
Mom, stay with me here. Can I use a black towel from the closet? I got an idea for a costume,
Nathan asked, pulling on the woman's dress, waking her up from her trance. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, honey, but no cutting, the woman warned. Nathan was overjoyed and ran to his bedroom to make his costume. That evening, Nathan was ready. When Charles and Darlene dressed up in their costume, so did Nathan. Goodbye, Mom. We're leaving now, Charles and Darlene hollered, standing at the front door. The kids' mother rushed to the door, holding a bowl of candy, dropping some in their bags. There you go. Be careful now, and hold on to Nathan's hand, the mother said. Nathan? Where is Nathan? He's going with us? Where is he? The kids asked.
Here I am to save the day,
a phrase Mighty Mouse would use to save his victims. Nathan ran from out of his room into the living room and jumped on the coffee table and proclaimed,
It is I, Superboy, a visitor from another planet to save hopeless victims on Earth.
Everyone looked surprised at Nathan, who just stood there with his legs spread apart, wearing his father's boots, his head held high, holding a bag in front of him, the black towel tied around his neck for a cape. He was wearing pajamas as a uniform and a paper bag over his head with his eyes cut out for a mask. Yeah, right, Superboy, huh? You get squeamish at the sight of blood, Charlie laughed. That's nice, honey, but if you don't get off my coffee table right this minute, you're going to be my first super victim, Nathan's mother shouted, pulling at the boy's cape. Nathan got down from the table and asked,
How you like me now?
Oh, okay, I guess. That'll do. Let's go before all the candy's gone, Darlene stated, grabbing Nathan by the hand. The kids left the house and joined the other children walking down the sidewalk, searching for candy. Let's go over there. Miss Wilkin has her porch light on, Darlene said, pulling Nathan behind her. Nathan clopped along in his father's boots, adjusting the paper bag on his head so he could see through the holes he had unevenly cut, realizing he was standing on the porch of the neighbor lady's house. The door opened, a kind old lady put candy bars in each one of their bags and mentioned,
Oh, who do we have here? A newcomer, I see. Is that you, Nathan?
Mrs. Wilkins asked, smiling.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat,
Nathan recited.
Hey, how does she know my name?
The boy thought, holding the bag out for his treat. The kids thanked the old lady and continued their trek to the next house.
How did she know my name?
Nathan asked. Oh, come on, dude. Look at my face. It's just painted red. She knows I'm Charlie, not a devil. She just lives across the street. She probably saw us leave the house. Just trust me. We've got these houses mapped out. We know about who's at home, who has the best candy, and who has booby traps set to scare the kids, Charlie exclaimed, walking down the sidewalk. Trick or treat! All the kids hollered, ringing the doorbell at the next house. A man opened the door with a mask that scared all the kids halfway down the block as he laughed. Nathan twirled around by the confusion and was left standing there, holding his bag out.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat,
he said, trying to see out of the holes in his sack. Not afraid of the man once he had turned him around, the man took off his mask and laughed. Oh, you're not afraid, little one?
Nope, I'm Superboy, defender of evil,
Nathan said. The man laughed and said,
All right, Superboy, here you go.
The man dropped something in his bag that weighted it down. Nathan had to adjust his mask just to see what it was. Oh, there you are, would you say? Darlene asked, walking up to pull the boy away from the porch.
Oh, thank you. Hey, where'd you guys go? Did he scare you too?
Nathan asked. No, we were next door wondering where you went. Come on, keep up with this, or you'll get lost, his sister scolded. Nathan felt silly, getting confused seeing his brother running back to meet him. Oh, here you are. Where'd you go, Nathan? I thought you got scared and ran home, Charlie said.
Nope. I was up at that house, and that man scared all the kids but me, and I wasn't afraid either,
Nathan said. Yeah, I get it, 'cause you're Superboy, right? Charlie asked, being funny. Nathan rolled his eyes. He didn't like that at all. And he followed the two down the street. They made their rounds to a lot of houses adorned with pumpkins, having a good time, filling their bags full of goodies. Nathan enjoyed himself seeing all the assortments of costumes. Some kids were wearing skeleton suits. Others wore witch and goblin costumes. Some wore just a sheet over their heads, running towards the neighborhood kids, scaring them. When suddenly a black cat ran across their path.
Ah! That's a ghost!
Darlene hollered, clinging into Charlie for dear life.
A ghost? Where?
Nathan hollered, taking off running, with his mats bouncing up and down on his head. He could hardly see out of it, moving the hose up and down in the sack until bang! Nathan tripped and fell to the ground, surrounded in bushes, fighting for his life.
Let me go! I'm not dead yet! Help! Charlie! Darlene!
The boy whined, flailing his arms, tangling up in the bushes. Nathan, here we are. Hold still, scaredy cat. It's just branches you're wrapped up in, Charlie exclaimed, pulling the boy from the bush. Darlene took the bag off of Nathan's head and asked, "You all right, Superboy? You could have saved us from the terrible black cat that ran across our path back there. But you were busy swimming in the bushes," Darlene laughed. Nathan didn't think that was funny and grabbed his mask and placed it back on his head. "Come on, let's go," Nathan said angrily. "Go? You want to go home? Are you hurt? What's wrong?" Darlene asked, checking the boy for injuries. Let's just take him home. He's just a scaredy cat," Charlie said. "No, I'm not going home, and I'm not afraid. You guys are the scaredy cats. You'll see. Come on," Nathan exclaimed, walking away from them. "Where are you going?" Charlie asked, following the boy down the street. "You'll see who's afraid," Nathan exclaimed. Nathan rushed down the street to the end of the cul-de-sac and stood at a large iron fence which surrounded a 3-story Victorian home, weathered with age. "What's down here?" "We're through trick-or-treating. It's getting cold. Let's go," Charlie said. "Nope, we haven't gone here yet. Let's go," Nathan said, smiling, staring at the big house. "Nathan, that's the Mossenberg mansion. No one ever goes there. The lights are never on, and it's always spooky around here. Some of my friends said the old man that lives there died a terrible death in the house and came back as a ghost, seeking revenge on his wife. And just the other day, the neighbors told me last night sometimes they can smell strange odors coming from the house." "We don't want to go there," Nathan said. Darlene said, shuddering from the cold night's air. "Who's scared now? Come on, you guys. I'll protect you. I'm Superboy," Nathan smiled, opening the rusted gate with all his might. Charlie looked at Darlene and shuddered and followed the boy up the pathway to the dark and gloomy porch. The steps creaked as they climbed the stairs and stood staring at the large oak door with a brass door knocker. "Okay, go ahead and knock," Nathan said out loud, then giggled. "Shh, somebody might hear us," Darlene whispered, standing behind Charlie just in case someone or something jumped out at them. "Who's going to hear us out in this godforsaken place?" Charlie asked. "Oh, someone will hear you. Just knock," Nathan snickered. Charlie reluctantly grabbed the door knocker and banged the cold metal ring against the door and waited. There was no answer, except from crickets being awakened in the tall nearby grasses. Nathan pushed Charlie and Darlene aside and said, "No, not like that. Like this." Nathan reached up and grabbed the door knocker and pounded hard. The sound vibrated through the house. Then the door opened ever so slowly, screeching and whining until it stopped, exposing a great hallway. "Hello? Is anybody here?" Nathan asked, walking across the threshold. Darlene whispered to Charlie, "Did you see that? The door opened by itself. Where are they at?" Darlene and Charlie stood there in the doorway as Nathan walked into the house. "Trick or treat, hello!" He spoke slowly, inching down the long corridor, then disappeared around the corner. A cold draft hit Darlene and Charlie in the face, coming from inside the home. "Did you feel that? It's spooky in there," Darlene gulped. Suddenly there was a silence. The kids tried to adjust their eyes, staring down the dark and drafty hallway.
Nathan, where you at?
Darlene whispered. Charlie pushed the door all the way open as they both entered the house and wandered around in the dark, fighting giant spider webs, stretching from corners in the high ceilings, calling out for Nathan.
Nathan, where are you? We gotta go.
Charlie hollered louder. Still, there was no answer.
Hey, Darlene, you mean to tell me Nathan just disappeared in that creepy old house? I can't see a thing.
Charlie said, feeling his way around the dark.
Yep, I guess so.
Just like Mr. Mossenberg did. I told you this place is haunted, the frightened girl replied. Darlene walked into the next room and bumped into something along the wall. She felt with her hand, and it was a leg.
Nathan, is that you?
She asked, lighting a match to get a better look. The light illuminated on an old man's withered face, and Darlene screamed, backing away, holding her mouth not to disturb the morbid old-looking man sitting there lifeless, holding a bowl of caramel apples in his withered lap. Charlie, come quick! It's the ghost of Mr. Mossenberg! Darlene exclaimed, trying to find another match in her pocket with no luck. She backed away quickly across the floor. Oh, ah! Charlie yelped. Darlene had bumped into Charlie and pushed him down the flight of stairs.
Charlie, where'd you go?
She asked.
Oh, I'm down here.
Charlie whined in pain.
Down where?
Darlene asked, turning around. She noticed a darkened doorway and realized what she had done.
I'm down here in some eerie cellar. You old clumsy ox. Forget about a ghost. Come and help me.
Darlene reluctantly walked down the rickety stairs until she stumbled over Charlie, lying on the hard dirt floor.
Sorry. Here, let me help you up. Are you all right?
She asked, feeling for the boy in the dark.
Oh, careful, my leg. I think I sprained it. We gotta get out of here before... Hey, you hear that? What?
The girl asked.
Someone is laughing. You hear it? Listen.
Charlie mentioned.
Yeah, there it goes again.
It's something upstairs. Maybe it's the ghost up there laughing at us, Darlene replied.
Ghost? Where?
Up there where we were just at. He was sitting against the wall holding a bowl of caramel apples.
Oh, come on. A guy with caramel apples? You're just trying to creep me out more than I already am,
Charlie whispered.
No, that's not true. Let's go up there. I'll show you,
Darlene persisted. The two crept upstairs. Darlene held onto her hobbling brother and glared into the room. The moon had shone through the window onto the wall where the old man sat.
He was right over here. Now he's gone,
Darlene whined, feeling her way along the wall.
I knew it. I just knew it. There's something wrong with this house. First Nathan disappears, then a disappearing ghost. No, wait a minute. There's no such thing as a ghost. Maybe a crazy sister, but not a ghost.
We gotta get out of here. Mom's probably worried about us, Charlie exclaimed, pulling Darlene to the front door.
No, wait. What about Nathan? We haven't found him yet,
Darlene hollered, knocking over a glass vase from the vestibule table.
Crash!
Glass broke all over the floor, cutting Darlene on her leg.
Hey, the water from that vase is running down my leg.
Charlie opened the front door to get a better look and glanced down at her legs and said,
That's not water. That's blood. That's your blood,
Charlie said, walking out on the moonlit porch.
Blood? I hate blood. You need a Band-Aid?
The old man said, sitting on the porch steps in a black tuxedo, holding a bowl of caramel apples.
Ah, it's a ghost again. Run for your life,
Darlene hollered, running to the side of the house.
Darlene, wait up. You're going the wrong way,
Charles said, running after the girl.
Come on, Charles,
the girl whispered.
Did I tell you he's a ghost? He got Nathan hidden somewhere, the girl said, pulling Charles around the corner of the house. He looked like a senile old man to me, Charles stated. Well, then if he's real, go ask him where Nathan is. We gotta go, the girl said. Charles rushed back to the porch, and the man was gone. Hello, mister, where's my brother? Who are you talking to? No one's there, silly, Darlene exclaimed. Charles looked around and said, Hey, you're right. He just disappeared. It must have been a ghost. Charles ran back to the side of the house and peeped in the high window. Look, Dee, it's a witch, and there's Nathan. She's lighting a match, and Nathan is opening the oven. You don't think he's going to cook our little brother, do you? Nathan, don't let her do it, Nathan, the kids hollered. Suddenly, the woman turned and looked out the window. Yikes, she saw us. What do we do now? Charles asked, ducking back from the window. Come on, I know one thing. We got to get Nathan back, Darlene said, out loud stomping around the front of the house. Hurry up, Charlie, I'm going in, she said angrily, putting her hands on her hips. Meanwhile, Nathan ran back to the front door, hearing his brother's voice in the kitchen, passing by the old man sitting in the same place where Darlene saw him and stopped. Oh, hi, Mr. Mossenberg. Trick or treat. Mr. Mossenberg? Wake up, Nathan said, shaking the man. Oh, hello, my friend. I must have dozed off again, he said, shaking the boy's hand. Suddenly, the front door flew open and Darlene and Charles rushed in, bumping into each other, determined to save their brother. There he is! That's the ghost! Let our brother go! Nathan, are you all right? Hollered Charlie. Oh, hello, kids. I thought I heard someone out here, an old woman said, coming from the kitchen with a tray of cookie dough on it. Herbert, what are you doing? You're supposed to be handing candied apples out to the kids, you old goat, the woman said, poking at the old man. There's that witch we saw. Shame on you for trying to harm little kids, Darlene scolded. Witch? This woman here is Mrs. Mossenberg. She's no witch. She's my friend, Nathan exclaimed. Darlene gulped and looked at Charlie as he tried to hide his embarrassment and asked, Well, what about the ghost Darlene saw? Ghost? You must mean this old goat. He's my husband, Mr. Mossenberg. Who might you be? The woman asked, smiling, turning at in-table light on. No, this is my older brother, Charlie, and my scaredy sister, Darlene. They came with me for trick-or-treating. We didn't think anybody was at home, Nathan stated. Why, wasn't the porch light on? Where were you, Herbert? You were supposed to be handing out candy and apples to the children when they came by. I'm sorry, my friends. I waited and waited for trick-or-treaters to come by, but they never did. I must have dozed off waiting for them, the old man said, nodding off and on. Of course they were not going to come by. The porch light was burned out, you dummy, the woman stated, looking at the window, clicking the light switch on and off. Geez, no wonder. I remember what I was going to do now before I fell asleep, the man said, putting the bowl of caramel apples aside, taking a light bulb out of the bunch of apples, slowly shuffling his feet to the front door. Come on, kids. You look frightened. Follow me to the kitchen, and I'll fix that, the woman said, holding Nathan's hand, walking back towards the kitchen. Oh, this is where she throws us all in that big oven and cooks us alive, Darlene whispered to Charlie, reluctant to follow. Nathan stopped and turned. What's the matter, scaredy cats? Afraid of being eaten alive? Nathan canted. The woman turned and said, Oh, Nathan, that's not nice. Come on, guys. You can help me, too. Nathan and I was going to bake some cookies, and when they're done, we can have cold pumpkin juice and cookies. I'm sure you'll like that.
the old woman said, continuing to walk back to the kitchen.
Pumpkin juice, just like Mom makes. That's great.
Charlie and Darling exclaimed, following his brother to the kitchen. Once they were there, they helped finish baking cookies, and they sat at the large kitchen table drinking cold pumpkin juice and warm homemade sugar cookies and laughing, telling the woman and her husband of their evening's events.
Oh, look at the time. It's really late, kids. You must go now. Marge must be worried. Wondering where you're at. I'll clean up here. It's nice having you,
the woman said. Mr. Mossenberg ushered them to the door and said, "You guys come back anytime. We never have company. Tell your mother hi for us. Oh, and I'll be sure to have the porch light on the next time." The old man chuckled, closing the door slowly.
Oh man, that was weird. She must have knew her mom. How did you know her mom's name?
Darling asked Charles.
Yeah, that's not the only thing that was weird. They knew Nathan, too? And he wasn't afraid of any ghost. Just us. Almost as if we had been here before.
They both looked down at Nathan as they walked home.
What's up with that, Nathan?
They both growled, thinking they were tricked. The boy ignored them, smiling, picked up a step and started to run.
Nathan, come back here! Come back here!
We better catch him before he tells Mom.
Nathan!
The boys hollered, running after the boy, hearing the young boy say,
I'm Superboy, away!
The end. Thank you for listening to my story called The Mossenberg Mysteries. Good night.